Hey everyone, it's Kirsten. I wanted to let you guys know how my race in Kona went yesterday. So first of all, wins in Kona, not a myth. Second of all, no matter what I say in the rest of this race report, I am very grateful I got the chance to be part of such an important and iconic race for triathlon. And third of all, despite that, I definitely have no desire to ever do this race again. So here's how it went down. I woke up with plenty of time to have a nice relaxing morning, and we strolled down to the beach, noticing that the waves were a little bigger and crashed a little louder than they had been the last week. So no big deal. I'm a strong swimmer. So we get to the race start, and they did it a little differently this year, where they had the pro men go first, then pro women, then age group men, then age group women. So we only had about 600 people in our wave, but they were like 600 of the most aggressive women I've ever swam with. So people were pulling my legs and like pushing me over and pushing me under the water to swim over me, and it was crazy. In addition to that, the water was super, super choppy, and there was a pretty big current. So very, very challenging swim course. And just in general, I don't think my body likes the salt very much. My eyes were burning, my tongue was numb, I chafed really badly, even putting chafing stuff. The salt just was too much for me. So I finished the swim. I didn't go, I probably went 80% because I didn't want to, I'd be exhausted after the swim. I knew it was going to be a long day. So probably swam about 80% of my max, finished in an hour 7. Which is way slower than any swim I've ever done for an Ironman, but I mean, in those conditions, I was really happy with that. So through transition, I super hosed off with the fresh water, rinsed out my eyes, rinsed out my mouth, and when I got to transition, I completely dried off, put on tons of sunscreen, my arm coolers, my calf compression socks, and I'm really glad I did all that. I got no sunburn at all yesterday, which I saw a lot of people today with massive sunburn. So I'm glad I took the time to do all that. So my transition was a little over 5 minutes. Then I had it out on the bike, and honestly, there was not 1 minute of it that I enjoyed. Okay, that's maybe the first 8 miles, because there was still a lot of people around, but as soon as we got onto the Queen K, it was pretty desolate and a massive headwind. And the only thing that kept me going was thinking on the way back, the last 30 miles are going to be a massive tailwind. I'll get to that in a second. So pretty warm, but I just kept myself soaked. So I never actually felt the heat at all, but it was just so windy, and it wasn't always a headwind. It was sometimes a headwind, sometimes a crosswind. And I'm a little chicken on my bike still, especially after my bike accident a couple years ago. So I never was in my aero bars for very long. I was up in my hoods, being like a complete kite for the wind to slow me down. So I just was so slow, and I just felt like everyone in the world was passing me. So we turn off for about a 20-mile climb up to Javi, and it wasn't bad. I like climbing, but it was just a lot of crosswinds. So again, I never got comfortable and never got settled in my aero bars. I was up on my hoods, getting blown around. And again, thinking, oh, well, at least there's a 20-mile downhill when I get to the top. So I get to the top, turn around, 20-mile downhill, would have been super fast, but again, I was scared to death of those crosswinds. And I don't know what the gusts are. I feel like they were like 40 miles per hour, because a couple times I really thought I was gonna fall over, and it was really scary. So I slowed down a lot. I felt like I was just taking forever. So, but I was excited to turn back on the Queen K, where I was going to have a tailwind the last 30 miles. So I turned onto the Queen K, and the wind shifted, and it was a headwind again. So I basically, for 100 miles, was in massive winds, and it just messed with my head. And I even tried singing Let It Go, replacing The Cold Never Bothered Me Anyway with The Wind Never Bothered Me Anyway. And I tried to be like, it's windy out, but it's calm around me, and nothing helped. And I kind of had a few moments of, what am I doing here? I'm gonna be the last person out here, and I had tears. So I took off my sunglasses to wipe away my tears, dropped my sunglasses, lens came out, put it back in, but then my hands were all nasty. I had nothing, everything was wet and sweaty, so I couldn't wipe off my lens and I couldn't see out of them. And I just put my glasses away, and so my eyes were sore from the salt, and then 30 miles of headwind back to transition. So my eyes were shot by the time I started the run. And I had a lot of different goals going into the race. I pretty much changed them each day that we were here, because I learned how much harder it is to swim in the ocean, and what the wind and the heat is like here, and what the roads are like. So my goal going into the marathon was just to finish the marathon so that I can at least check off my 19th state, which is my 19th marathon state, doing my 50 states of marathons. So I got, plus, oh my gosh, I was just so happy to get off the bike. So I got off the bike and I actually felt really good. So I ran into transition, switched out everything. My second transition was a little over 2 minutes, so pretty quick transition. My total bike time was 7 hours and 22 minutes. So it's an average of 15 miles per hour, which is really torturous to be out there for that long. So I get off, I start running, and I actually felt really good. I had a little side stitch, but I knew that would go away because I wasn't going super fast. And it was really cool. I got to see a mile 2. Rick and Sabra and Michael and Ashley were waiting for me, and they chalked up the ground in front of me. So that was cool and gave me a little bit of energy. We go out, Alihi Drive, and turn around at about 5 miles out, 5 miles back. And the whole 10 miles, I felt great. And then mile 10, I walked up the hill up to the Queen K, and it actually felt really, really good to walk. And so when I started back running, I wasn't really excited to start running. And what became one of the hardest parts of the day was realizing that I wasn't doing anything spectacular in the race as far as getting any best times or anything like that. But I knew even if I walked pretty slow, I would make the cutoff, the midnight cutoff. So it was really hard to keep running when it was so easy to walk, and I would still finish, because at this point, that's all I was trying to do, is finish. So I went back and forth with that in my head quite a few times. Part of me is like, you want to just enjoy this. That was one of my original goals, just to enjoy it. And I was enjoying it way more walking. But then I had people waiting for me at the finish. I had people on the East Coast where that was already midnight, and I still had a marathon, and they were tracking me. And I started thinking that I needed to run for other people, but I needed to walk for me. So I was kind of doing this run 100 steps, walk 50 steps. And the sunset was beautiful, but I hit mile 16 when the sun went behind the water, and it was dark, and I was just heading into the energy lab, and there's no lights at all in there, and it was pitch black. And I was kind of jogging, and it was getting stressful because I couldn't see the ground. I didn't want to wipe out, and I was getting tired because I'd cried like 10 times by then. And my eyes already hurt from the salt and the wind, and I just wanted to take a nap. But I was like, you know what, just walk it. So the next 9 miles, I walked. And I kind of changed my goals. I was like, okay, pass 2 people while you walk, or who are walking, walk faster than them, or, tell 10 people they're amazing and they're, doing it, or whatever. So I kind of got my spirits back. I knew it was gonna be around 14 hours when I finished. I saw Sabra out on the course, and she was out there, gave me a little boost, and all the volunteers, my God, they are amazing. It takes 5,000 volunteers to put on this event, 10,000 spectators here, plus all the locals. It was really great. So I was walking, and I started heading downhill. I saw mile 25 marker. The rest is literally downhill. Like the last 1.2 miles are downhill, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run it. So I started jogging, and of course I felt great because I had been walking the last 9 miles. So I started running. I felt great. I picked it up. I started sprinting in. And again, all the energy of the people bringing me in was very helpful. And I finished in 14 hours and 6 minutes. And, I wanted to finish for I mean, I knew I was going to finish. That wasn't ever an issue. As soon as I got off the bike, I'm like, yeah, I can, I had like, I think 8.5 hours to get the marathon in, and I've walked a marathon in 6.5 hours. But I wanted to finish, of course, to get the finisher's jacket, but mostly because the past 2 years, I have received so many messages and texts and emails from people who have told me that my journey of following my dreams and doing something I never thought I could do inspired them to be a better them, or to get healthy, or to start running, or to follow a big dream that they never thought they could do. And it was really awesome that I didn't even care for finishing for myself, because again, I knew I'd finish. It was no big deal. I wasn't setting any records for myself. In fact, actually I did. That was the slowest marathon. It was my 42nd marathon. It was the slowest marathon I've ever run, ever. But it was even slower than the marathon where I ran half and walked half in Iowa this year. So anyway, slowest marathon ever. But I just wanted to, I didn't want to let those people down who tell me I'm an inspiration. I want them to believe that they can do whatever they set their mind to, and this is what I set my mind to do. So it was really, that meant a lot to me to finish for not just me, but for all of you. All of you have been posting that these videos are inspiring you and making you want to try something that you were scared to try, or even admit to people that you have a dream and that you're going for your dreams. So I think my favorite part of this race wasn't the energy of Alihi or all the amazing people. I mean, they were amazing, and I'm so glad that I had friends out here to help me and cheer me on, and that means a lot. But my favorite part of this was the hundreds of messages when I got home on my Facebook page and on my text, people blowing up my phone telling me that they were following me all day long. My East Coast people, that's 3 a.m. They had to wait for me to finish, and they said they saw the video when I crossed the finish line. And that means so much to me, because I know time is so valuable, and you guys could have spent your day, 14 hours of your day, doing anything, and you spent it giving me your energy and giving me your love, and that means more to me than anything else that this race has done for me. So thank you guys so much, and I will let you know when I come up with my next big thing, and I would love, love, love to hear about your big thing. And if I could do anything at all to help you through that, or help you believe that you can do it, please, please, please reach out to me. Thank you again for everything, and until next time, keep dreaming.